Marnak picks it up and announces to everyone that he will kill them all. This makes the crowd explode with cheer, and Dakia, who is with Mother, cheers also. After the match, Dakia drags Marnak around the city as she wants to eat a limited time bread, which is apparently the fluffiest in the whole city. She warns him to hurry, as it's made from a limited amount. There's already a few people buying it. Suddenly, Marnak notices someone similar, but before he can look further, Dakia grabs his hand and drags him away, leaving him to think if it was really that person, or just someone who looks similar. When they get back to the tavern they are staying at, Mother climbs on the bed separators and imitates Marnak and how he dealt with Bigfoot. She even imitates the movements he did afterwards, with Marnak being quite embarrassed about it. But Dakia finds it amazing. Curiosity arrives in their room and notes that even here, they are practicing techniques. Marnak apologizes if it bothers her, but she claims that it doesn't. It makes the atmosphere around pretty good. Additionally, if she were to repeat herself, the last match went pretty nicely, and was quite memorable for those watching. For a priest, he sure went ham on Bigfoot. Marnak says that it's not like it seems, but Curiosity notes that she meant what she said about it being memorable, and she also heard from Bigfoot that he started rigging the fight in the middle of it, right? He told him that if he does not want to die, he should act like he's in pain, no matter how hard he hits. Marnak explains that it wasn't rigging, but rather, they were both like-minded individuals, and came to an agreement. They put on a pretty good act that was performed quite well. Curiosity doesn't care what it was, as long as it performed well. However, due to this, she's thinking of adding more matches that have acted in them when the opportunity comes. However, they need a new actor, as Bigfoot up and left because he wanted to become an actor, or something like that. So she will extend him a hand and invite him to work for her, as she is sure he will become the star of the arena in no time. Marnak thanks her for the generous offer, but he will have to refuse, as he has one duty, to release the seal that has been placed on Mother. Curiosity just stares at them, and notes that it's disappointing to hear, but there is nothing that can be done if that is what he wants. However, this act that he performed will allow her to use it whenever she wishes. Marnak allows her to, as he was just mimicking something that he was watching in the past anyways. Curiosity says that it doesn't feel fair to use it for free, so she will reward him when the time comes, which Marnak accepts. Curiosity then asks if there's anything she can help regarding the next match, but Marnak says no, as his next opponent is an evil spirit worshipper anyway. The crowd cheers as the announcer tells everyone about the fight. This will be the Headbreaker versus the new rising star, the newbie, who made everyone scream in delight, the Human Slaughterer. Everyone calls out his name, but some also notice that he now has a Bigfoot weapon. Did he perhaps kill Bigfoot and steal his weapon? That is what everyone chooses to believe, and when Marnak gets on the arena, he tells the Headbreaker that his real name must be Getum, right? He asks how he found out, but Marnak doesn't answer, as he is glad that he just confirmed it. The announcer prepares everyone for a great fight and tells them to start, but in the second it starts, Marnak rips his head out of his neck. Everyone is left awestruck, including Dakia, who knew that it was going to be like this. Marnak simply leaves, as he enjoys putting up an act, but when it comes to these scum, he cannot hold himself. Somewhere else, the prince is mad that Kantar, the Ile headquarters higher-up, said that kidnapping Dakia again will not be possible. There are 3 reasons. Firstly, Dakia came here under a pseudonym, and they were able to kidnap her secretly, but she came to visit the capital officially this time, so it will be hard to even get close to her. Secondly, this time, she has companions around her that are not easy to deal with at all. The bastard son of Enthis Valtus, a member of the Red Bear Mercenary Corps, and most importantly, the evil slaughterer, Marnak. The prince sees this as a good thing, as if they just show the priest and mercenary some cash, they will just leave, and then it will be easy to capture her. Kantar notes that the priest is unbribable, as he is well known to have killed many evil individuals or things, and it will be hard to think that he would betray his companion like that. It is also rumored that he and Dakia are in a secret relationship. The prince slams his fist on the table, and Kantar explains that, according to their informer at least, Dakia visits Marnak's room in the dead of the night, every night, for a while. However, only their organization knows about this, so it's fine. The prince orders him to not let the information leak no matter what, which Kantar agrees with. Finally, they get to the final reason, the White Wolf, and the bastard son's brother, Seti and Valtus. They received info about his meeting with the princess, so if she disappears, he will surely make a move. And who knows, his father might get involved too. While the prince laments everything, Kantar laughs, as he's glad this bastard is getting humbled. Halton suddenly begins laughing, which Kantar doesn't know why, but he soon finds out, as the prince slams his head on the table and tells him to listen. He can tell the queen all of the dirty deeds they have done, and he will be safe, as his father is the only Dragon King magician in the world, so he will just have to lay low. He orders him to bring Dakia to the Dragon Kingdom without harming her, no matter the cost or way. At a Liberato meeting, one of them notes that this newbie, the human slaughterer, is definitely after them. Since it has come to this, they will not die with no purpose, and instead steal the holy relic from the arena godmother. They are all allowed to use their authority, but they will have to move quickly before the priest and queen's knights make any moves. At the same time, somewhere else entirely, a man explains the operation to a few other men, who are all masked and are ready to capture their target. No matter what, they must not fail. When the next fight is ready, everyone is ecstatic to see who will win. But just when they are about to start, a sudden explosion occurs, and the kidnappers swiftly go on the move. The evil spirit worshippers see this, and they also get on the move, before things become too messy to deal with. The man Marnak was supposed to fight has no clue about anything that's going on, but suddenly, the Queen's Knights, led by Carmen, announces that this is a crackdown on illegal fighting. The Knights move in and apprehend anyone involved, but that's when Carmen notices the kidnappers and tells them to drop their weapons and kneel. They also chase the evil spirit worshippers. Carmen issues order after order, saying that some should follow him and some should stay at the door, but Marnak tells him to not do that, as he should focus on those guys. They are after Princess Dakia. The spectators also confirm this, as they have heard them say it, which makes the kidnappers disperse, but not before Carmen tells everyone to chase after them, and calls in Sajida, who immediately strikes one of them. Without much choice, the kidnappers withdraw, as the knights give chase. Marnak barges into Dakia's room, and explains that the evil spirit worshippers are going to Curiosity, while her kidnappers are clashing with the royal army. While he changes, he also notes that they must leave now, and hands her his mask to make it harder for them to recognize her. With that, they get out of the room to leave, but that's when a few kidnappers appear, who kill one of the personnel. Marnak tells Dokia that they will attack from now on, as getting surrounded will not help their situation at all. He charges in with great speeds and strikes one of the kidnappers, which allows the other one to charge Dakia, but she's a mage, so she just burns his eye and kills him. Marnak congratulates her on a job well done, and they both go to the emergency exit, while Dakia asks if Curiosity will be fine. Marnak confirms that she will, as a demon like her, who has stood in the same body for a long time, is very hard to kill. Sure enough, the evil spirit worshippers are having trouble with her, but they don't give up, as some want to go to the relic and steal it. Since it's a demon, it must pay a price for this power. Curiosity tells them to not be happy just yet, and shows them a pile of bodies, the ones she can use as payment for her powers. With that, she summons her true power, and the evil spirit worshippers will be in a world of hurt soon enough. While Carmen deals with the kidnapper who attacked him, he laments coming here like this, as he wanted to get more experience. But since his soldiers are less experienced, they are losing. Bad. However, Marnak and Dakia are probably out by now, so what he needs to do is protect the soldiers, as he is their commander. He tells the soldiers he just saved to gather their wits and join their brothers in battle. Then, he announces that they will give up on defeating the enemy, and that from now on, they will focus on defending. He tells one of the soldiers that he will be the commander from now, and he should prioritize their lives. He asks Sajida if he can still fight, who confirms that he can. Now, their mission is set, to kill those bastards. Marnak and Dakia are unfortunately spotted, and they are now on the run. But one of the men gets in front of them and demands that they stop. Naturally, that doesn't work, as Marnak tears him up and grabs his dagger. Some more kidnappers come from the left, so Marnak uses the dagger to break the blade of one and tells Dakia to charge in. She does just that and kills one of them, which allows the other to attack her. Again, she is a mage, so she just blows him up, like any good mage would do. Marnak takes care of the rest, and fortunately, these seem to be the last ones, at least for now. Dakia hands his mask back to him, as it's quite hard to fight with it on her face. Marnak takes it back, and Mother warns them that more are coming, and sure enough, their moment of peace is broken, as more men come from all directions. Dakia asks what they should do, and Marnak tells her to destroy the ceiling, as he will protect her. She does just that, which allows them both to run away. After a short while, however, they are stopped once again by the kidnappers, who warn Marnak to leave, as they have no quarrel with him, and they will actually pay him more than she paid. Marnak notes that Dakia promised her weight in gold, so can they offer more? The kidnapper notes that they naturally can. Their client will give double. Marnak is impressed by their volition, however they cannot give him gold that smells as nice as this one does. Dakia blushes heavily, and the kidnapper thinks that he's joking, but he is cornered. Can he really win against so many people? Marnak explains that a cat does not care if there are more than 10 rats, so why should he? The kidnapper is extremely angry and tells the others to jump in. They do just that, but Marnak pulls out his chainsword and meows. Thus begins his slaughter, and he doesn't stop until every single kidnapper is dead, except one, their commander. Marnak just smiles in his face and cuts his neck. Curiosity also deals with the evil spirit worshippers, as only one remains. He asks how long she was alive for, and she says that she was alive before the first son of corruption was even made. Now it's his turn to answer. He is a priest of the mending needle, right? The inside of his head is in tatters. It must be his work. With her power, she demands he answer, but instead of that, the priest just summons his god. She also notes that from some digging, she found out why they were getting the relics. They plan to descend a part of God on earth and break the balance that has been maintained for so long. Mending Needle arrives in her room and tells her to shut it, as she is nothing but a lowly demon. There are only a few kidnappers remaining, but they are hesitant to charge in when they see Marnak's viscous green aura and heavy chainsword. Still, their leader orders them to attack, even if he is intimidating. It's just one guy against them. Marnak tells Dakia to do her thing, which she is reluctant to do, but still does it while noting that he was the one who asked for this to happen. She unleashes a mighty flame spell directly over Marnak, which engulfs the entire corridor and makes the kidnappers scream around in fear and pain. With this opportunity, Marnak begins cutting them down one after another, while they still plead for help. His eyes glow green, and even if he is being burned too, he is enjoying this action thoroughly. Eventually, they both get outside and destroy the entrance to make sure that nobody will follow after them. Dakia notes that she never wants to visit this place ever again. But more importantly, is he alright? She's pretty sure he got burned too. Marnak tells her to relax, as he is mostly healed, and the hair that is burned is growing back steadily. Is she alright? Dakia, with a pretty tired smile, says that she is. Suddenly, they hear a scream of pain, as one of the kidnappers who has managed to escape falls dead to the ground, because someone with a familiar figure has slain him. Both Marnak and Dakia feel the pressure of the person that did this, the priestess that was chasing Marnak down. He instantly pulls out his sword and charges in, while telling Dakia to not do anything no matter what happens. The priestess hilts her blade and raises it in the air. Marnak tries to charge in as swiftly and harshly as he can, but with a single swing of her sheathed blade, the priestess puts him to the ground, causing him to bleed. She asks him if he truly thought he could win against her, even if she went so easy on him. It is written by fate that they meet on this day, as he is her one and only disciple. After Shantux passed away, Marnak began his journey to look for the holy relics that contained Mother's divinity. Eventually, he was able to find one, but the only problem was that the holy relic was placed inside the sacred flame sect's relic storage. While he was doing some laundry across the river, he talked with Mother about the weather and air, but she wasn't in the mood to talk. He knew that she was bored, but he told her to be patient, as he is trying to think of ways to get many holy relics. The only skill Marnak had at the time was the line which the living cannot cross, and the relic keeper in this town is a priestess at a much higher realm than he is. Much higher. While deep in thought, he did not notice the blue-haired woman that was beside him, but when he did, he thought of her as very pretty, but strange as he hasn't seen anyone come at this hour yet. That's when she said that if he has some spare time afterwards, she would like his help with something, and promises to reward him nicely. Marnak immediately jumped at the offer, as he was almost done with his stuff anyways, leaving the blue-haired woman quite confused by his sudden eagerness to help. Half an hour later, Marnak fully washed and dried the sheets that the blue-haired woman wanted washed. She congratulated him for such a swift job and told him to bring the basket over here. That is when Marnak realized that the person who asked him for help with laundry was the relic keeper that was keeping him from just leaving this place. For his reward, she handed him 1 silver coin and asked if he could help with this next time too. Marnak agreed very fast, and thus, they formed a strange relationship tied with laundry. She would bring over laundry once every few days, and he did her laundry diligently each time that she did, for 1 singular silver coin. However, after a few weeks passed, the priestess stopped asking him to do her laundry. She explained that she is out of money while standing on the river shore. She used up all of the money that her predecessor left behind, so she will have to do her laundry from now on. Marnak thought for a second and said that he doesn't need the money, as he will help even without it. The priestess was surprised by this and asked why he would do such a thing. Marnak explained that he has nothing to do anyway, if he is done with his and goes home right away. But he thought that even if he was an outsider in this town, she never discriminated against him like the others. Additionally, he got tons of silver coins from her, so doing this much means nothing to him. The priestess thought about his offer and wanted to accept, but not for free. So she asked if he wanted to learn swordsmanship from her. This took Marnak by surprise and he asked what she meant. She thought that this was rejection, but he grabbed her hands and accepted, as this is an amazing offer that she put in place. At the time, Marnak only had a good physique. He actually sucked at fighting for a long time. Before he could mutter even more words of gratitude, the priestess slapped him across the face with a wooden sword, and thus began their apprentice-master relationship. In this world, there are experts, which in the game was classed for high-rank and close-range combat attackers. In this world, though, it is known as a level. An expert is someone who has fully mastered their type of martial arts, and as a result, transcended their limits as human beings. There are only a handful of these experts in the entire nation, but his master Pritya was one of them. Her only teaching method was sparring, something very simple, yet quite primitive. After they were done with training for the day, the priestess told him to come back at the same time tomorrow, and clean her house instead, if she didn't have any laundry for him. Marnak agreed, but asked if this building is the storage relic, and if he could perhaps take a look inside. She was suspicious of him right off the bat, but he explained that he was just curious about how the relic looked, that's all. After some deliberating, she agreed to let him see it, as it shouldn't impose a problem, but this will be a one-time thing. Marnak thanked her lots, and when he walked inside, he thought that he didn't even know what the holy relic with Mother's divinity looked like. Suddenly, his chest began to hurt, as he approached an ordained cup with tons of green energy around it. This is the holy relic. Afterwards, the training continued, with Marnak trying his hardest to hit the priestess. But she was always one step ahead, and the training always ended with him not being able to put even a finger on her. One day, she had a thing to do, so she went out. This was 3 years after they first met. Marnak had been living with the priestess and taking care of her chores while also training. He really liked that he did not have to worry about food or shelter every day. But in all of this time, he simply learned how to survive, rather than learning true swordsmanship. Marnak was pretty tired of this monotone cycle, so he decided to run away, as he couldn't learn much from the priestess anyways. And he also needs to get the main quest done while also avenging Shantuks. With that, he opened the relic storage room and grabbed the cup with divinity in it. He successfully ran away with it, and that's how he earned the authority, Corruption Giant. Mother also began speaking with him then, as she had enough divinity to do so. Marnak asks how she knew he was alive all of this time, but she explains that she didn't. He recovered tons of times before, even though he beat him up every day for 3 years, so she thought that he would just grow a new head if he were to be decapitated like he was. Marnak doesn't understand her jumps in logic, but lets it go. The priestess also shows him the posters she made to find him. That look exactly like him, she is sure. Marnak is very shocked that she managed to find him with these ghastly things. She gets serious for a second and explains that she doesn't care what he is, but she does care about her ego, so they will train again until he becomes an expert like her. Marnak knew she was going to say something like this, and asks how long it would take for him to become one. The priestess thinks about it for a second. She trained without any rest every day, for about 30 years, give or take. He is quite talented, and has a sturdy body, so he will only have to train for about 27 years probably. Marnak thinks that if he were to do that, all of the main quests would have disappeared, plus he's not a genius like she's expecting him to be. To get out of this situation, he will have to tell her something convincing, And so he does. Back in the illegal fighting building, Carmen asks one of his men how many of them remain. The man explains that there are 24 remaining, with 3 heavily injured casualties, and 11 who are only slightly injured. Carmen is sure that his brother did not expect this to happen, as 16 have already died. He clenches his sword tightly, and thinks that it would have been better if they brought elite forces instead. Suddenly, the ground begins to shake, and out of a wall comes a crab-looking demon, ready to kill anyone who stands in its way. Carmen notices that he is a demon, but he is much smaller compared to what they saw in Erratico. Still, this is not an easy enemy to deal with, so he tells the men to get as far away as they can, and calls Sajida over, as they are going to stall the beast as much as they can in order to let the soldiers run away. Sajida throws one of his spears directly into the demon's eye and charges in, allowing him to slash the beast well. While Sajida is attracting its attention, Carmen moves closer and successfully cuts the demon very deeply. Seeing that it's at a disadvantage, the demon begins growing countless heads on itself, which makes both its attackers back off, as they are sure they don't want to be caught in whatever it is doing. With a loud scream and hellish scream, the demon unleashes an explosion of frost all over the area, but Carmen was able to get behind cover in time. Sajida was also able to, but the attack caught a bit of his arm, which doesn't prove to be a problem as he breaks the ice and charges in once again. With even greater rage, Sajida gets on top of the beast and keeps spearing it again and again, causing it to plead for forgiveness, while also calling out for mending needle. Sajida is quite confused and stops for a second, which allows the demon to pull out tons of needles from it and throw them at the corpses and people around. Those who are hit are pulled near the demon, which makes Carmen give out the order to retreat. Sajida tries to, but he is suddenly struck in the leg, which makes him unable to move. Fortunately for him, Carmen saw how this happened, so he instantly cuts the thread before Sajida can be pulled in. The demon starts destroying the roof over their heads, which makes Carmen muster all of his strength into deflecting the debris that would have fallen on them. This gives the demon the opportunity to strike him with tons of needles, which makes him scream out in pain as they hit him. Marnak thinks of the thing to say to his former master in order to make her drop the training proposition, but when he wants to say it, a sudden explosion occurs behind them. So Marnak asks the priestess if she shouldn't go and take a look at what was happening. She explains that she came across a certain person on her way to this place. He will most certainly get there first, so she feels like she doesn't need to go, since he will almost certainly take care of it. Marnak asks who she is talking about, and the priestess notes that it's the Black Wolf, Enthis Valtis. Carmen is glad to see his father, who instantly cuts down his restraints and asks if he is still able to walk. Carmen confirms that he is able, which makes Enthis say that he should go, as he will be the one to slay this monster. With a defeated expression, Carmen agrees, and slowly walks away with Sajida. Suddenly, from below, a white snake comes out, another demon, who asks the other demon to give the precious item back, with great malice, as it seems that this item is quite important to the snake. Enthis watches, as the two demons begin clashing with each other. However, it seems that this woman is Curiosity, who has gone into a fit of rage after the other demon took her precious item. Seeing that their fight would take a while, Enthis unleashes a mighty attack on the crab demon, which cuts part of its head off, allowing him to climb it with ease. When Curiosity spots him, she begs for him to not do anything to her, as her item is going to break if he continues attacking like this. Enthis does not see someone that can be reasoned with in her, however, he only sees a demon who is ready to destroy the city he swore to protect. He cuts two of Curiosity's heads cleanly, and thinks that with this final one, everything will come to an end. Curiosity thinks that she was extremely unlucky, as if it wasn't for this bastard of a human, she could have gotten her precious item back. Does she really need to give it up and retreat to save herself? All she would need is a little bit of help, maybe from the Priest of Corruption. Out of nowhere, the priestess appears and attacks Enthis, which comes as a pleasant surprise to Curiosity. They began exchanging blow after blow on the ground, and Enthis notices just how much murderous energy this woman has. He tries to hit with a bigger strength, but this only causes the both of them to send each other back, and Enthis is sent into a wall. After the dust clears, he asks her why she's doing something like this. The priestess says that she's just curious about him, since he is apparently the best swordsman of the northern region, or so everyone says. Enthis notes that if this is all she wants, they can fight at a later date, as now he must protect the capital and its residents from these beasts. The priestess mocks him. It seems that his best talent is not his swordsmanship, but his non-stop yapping. Seeing that this woman will not see to reason, he gets serious, which makes her get serious too. The moment they clash, the entire area explodes with force. Curiosity can only watch as these two sword masters have a go at each other's necks. But suddenly, Marnak, now dressed in his arena attire, appears and asks what he should do. She thanks him from the bottom of her heart for being here. But Marnak doesn't need thanks, he only needs orders. While crying, Curiosity explains that the monster she was fighting has the holy relic that he stole from her. There is something within the holy relic that her daughter has. That is all she wants. He can have the rest. Marnak attempts to find the holy relic inside of the demon, but it is mixed with tons of other divinities. So even if he cuts it thousands of times, it will be hard to find the exact location of the holy relic. He tells this to Curiosity, but she believes in him. She believes that he can find her precious item. Even with such trust, Marnak thinks that it will be hard, but suddenly, Mother appears in front of him, as apparently she wants to help in the search. As Mother transforms into her human form, she confidently says that she can help with her search even in this form, but Marnak says that it's too dangerous for her to be like this. She still insists that she help this way, so he picks her up as he can't really refuse her. But if things get too dangerous, she must return to a hand instantly, as he can't risk her well-being. Curiosity screams that she will help too, as she starts to surround the monster with her body, who even without a head tries to retaliate, as it's still alive and kicking. Marnak descends down from it and holds himself in place with the sword, telling Mother that she should hold on tight, as this will certainly be a bumpy ride. As he holds on, however, a small fleshy creature appears and tries to get to him, but he cuts it in half with ease. Unfortunately, this wasn't the only creature, as countless start appearing from the demon's body, attempting to protect their host. Seeing that it has come to this, Marnak activates his text of corruption, and as the creatures rush in, Marnak moves through all of them with a single punch, killing them instantly. This move also gives Mother the opportunity to find the item, as she noticed that it is near the head that the demon was supposed to have. Marnak congratulates and notes that he would pat her head for how well she did, but he will hold back, since more beasts are attacking them right now. He takes care of one by throwing his sword in its head, and then tells Curiosity that they found it. The item is near the cut on the neck. She thanks them for finding it so fast and says that she will eat everything, except his neck. She starts doing just that, while mocking the man-made demon, as he is nothing more than a worshipper of a loser from heaven, and he dared to look down on her like this. As Marnak continues to run along the demon, he eventually finds where the item is hidden with the guidance of Mother. So he starts digging for it in the demon's body, until eventually he finds it, the small lockbox. He also notices that there are no hands around here, or rather they can't get to this place. Is it because of this holy relic, or is it something else? Mother tells him to hurry up as they don't have the time to dilly-dally like this, which Marnak agrees with. So he tells Curiosity that they got the item, which she thanks them for a lot. She can't thank them enough, honestly, but she also says that they should get down from there, as she will finish this. Marnak tells Mother to transform back into a hand, which she does, allowing Marnak to just bolt out of there within a second. Curiosity grits her teeth and screams at the skies for Mending Needle. He is hiding in the heavens like a cowardly bastard, but she promises, not even when she draws her last breath, she will never ever respect him. For what he did today, she will have her revenge. As she starts eating the demon, Marnak jumps away and lands, just in time to see that the backups have arrived, ready to kill anything that's not human-shaped. That's when they also see the demon, Curiosity, eating the other demonic being. Marnak hides himself, as getting questioned right now would be even worse since he can't explain everything to them. The priestess continues to fight Enthis, with their attacks breaking the ground every time they clash. But when she notices that Marnak has left, she just backs away and stands still, making Enthis ask what she's doing. As she sighs, she says that now he can do whatever he wants to do, as the reason they were fighting in the first place got away safely. Enthis asks what she's yapping about, but knows that this woman is too enigmatic to get a straight answer, and notes that she will have to take responsibility for what she did today. The priestess asks how that is, as she doesn't think that she would ever lose to someone like him. One of Enthis's men brings him his molar-toothed sword, and Enthis orders him to arrest the priestess in front of him, as respectfully as possible. She is an expert, so he shouldn't provoke her in any way if he wants to guarantee that his head will still be attached to his body. The soldier immediately agrees, and sheepishly walks up to the priestess while noting that he needs to arrest her because he was ordered to do so. So, she should please cooperate calmly, as he promises he won't tie her too tightly. The priestess tells him to wait and starts rummaging through her pockets, eventually finding what she was looking for, a paper. She gives it to the soldier, who is immediately shocked by the contents. The priestess apologizes to him, as she seems to have given him a drawing of her cute disciple, as he was looking for him previously. Before the guard can even wonder who that man is, the priestess pulls out the real thing she wanted to give him, a paper that says that no matter what the owner of the document does, the kingdom cannot make them take responsibility. The man asks if this is even real, but the priestess says that she wouldn't have shown it to him if it was fake. It even has the stamp to prove it is so. The man asks where she got this, and she remembers that she killed an evil god worshipper a long time ago and got it from the at the time king, as she was apparently the savior of his kingdom. So he handed her this as a reward. With that, she believes that she can be on her merry way, as she has some places to be and people to meet. Marnak continues to run through the building corridors, hoping to get out soon enough. But that's when curiosity jumps on him and thanks him again and again for what he did. She would like to thank him even further. But before things can go any further, Mother gets in the way and looks at Curiosity with a tear in her eye. Because of this, Curiosity starts hugging her instead, and continues to do so until Mother is nearly out of breath from her constant hugs. Curiosity drags them to the dining hall, where Mother sits slumped. But Curiosity comes over with some warm tea and cookies for them, with Mother clearly wanting some for herself. As Mother takes a bite of one of the cookies, she falls into cookie heaven and starts chowing down all of them in quick succession. Curiosity asks what she said, with Marnak noting that she's just saying they are very nice. It might also be too late to give her this, but here's the box she wanted. Curiosity thanks them once again. She knows that she thanked them a lot, but she really means it. Marnak asks where her daughter is, with Curiosity saying that she's been dead for a long time now. However, he doesn't need to feel bad about it, as her daughter was only human and lived during the ancient empire era. It would have been more strange if she were alive. Marnak asks about her husband, but Curiosity says she doesn't have one, as when she possessed this body, she was already pregnant with her child. She slowly opens the box, telling them that she doesn't open it just for everyone. Inside is a framed drawing of Curiosity and some other trinkets scattered about. Demons usually try to avoid having children with the bodies they possess, as their goal in life is to enjoy the world to the fullest before eventually leaving. But when one brings a child into this world, they can't help but love them unconditionally and grow attached. But that attachment soon turns into sorrow. The sorrow becomes too large, and since they occupy bodies to feel good, they would rather avoid that. Marnak asks her why she gave birth to that child then, but of course, she was just curious. It's not that unusual though, as other demons tend to do it too, at least once. However, she was able to give birth to her beautiful, amazing daughter, Silon. He certainly doesn't know this, but the sword that he brought with him the first time they met, the one with the teeth, was made by her daughter, even though she doesn't really want to brag about it. Marnak is extremely surprised by this, and Curiosity asks him to bring it out, as she will show him something quite interesting. He does just that, and Curiosity starts saying some strange words, which eventually activate the sword, and it starts displaying a message. Her forever lovely mother, Alicia, and the sixth creation of the Empire's best blacksmith, Silon. Marnak asks if there are other features hidden in this sword, but Curiosity wouldn't know where to look. However, it's her daughter that made it, so it might actually just be interconnected with her other creations. She always loved creating interesting stuff, even if it was sometimes quite outlandish. Marnak asks if she also doesn't want this sword, since it was made by her daughter, but Curiosity says that she doesn't, as what matters to her most is what her daughter gave to her personally. The other stuff she made hoping that other people would use it, and even if she were to pick up every item of hers, she wouldn't even use them, since she would be too afraid to break them. She knows better than anyone will. That is not what her daughter would have wanted for her creations. Mother starts tugging at Marnak's robe and says something, making Curiosity ask what she needs. Marnak explains that she wants more of the cookies she served them, so Curiosity tells Mother if she goes to the left of the kitchen, in the second drawer, there's plenty of cookies. She can go ahead and take as many as she wants. As she walks to the kitchen, Curiosity notices that she's kind of cute, but now she doesn't know how to express her gratitude to him. Does he perhaps want to do something fun? She promises that she can give him a really nice treatment. Marnak immediately refuses and tells her to not speak those words in front of Mother, as she just might bring the whole town down. Curiosity says that it's a shame, but he can change his mind anytime, as she really isn't joking about it. As Mother comes in, Curiosity wonders what to reward them with. She puts the cookies down and starts speaking through Marnak's translation. If she's that thankful, they should give them enough gold coins to match the numbers of cookies that she has. Curiosity likes how realistic she is, but unfortunately money will be tight, as it will take a bit to repair the underground arena, as well as the broken eye. She also doesn't like to just give out money to her saviors, as that disappears too fast. so she must find something special to give them. At first, she thought of joining them in their adventures, but she doesn't enjoy fighting much, and she is certain that blood will follow in his wake, as it's done up until now. That's when she remembers that she had something, so she runs up to get it. As she does so, Mother asks Marnak if she can pack more of these cookies, with Marnak noting that he will ask. Curiosity gets back and gives them a brown pouch, which once Marnak opens, reveals to be a key to the ancient ruins. She thinks that it's a suitable reward for them, and more than anything, that ruin also contains one of her daughter's creations. After everything is set, Curiosity sees them out with a bag containing cookies and other things that she decided to throw in. Marnak and Mother thank her for the gifts, with Marnak asking if they will be seeing each other again. Curiosity says that she played around a little too much. Her eye is rather dysfunctional right now, so she will need to be out of the capital for a while at least. Marnak sees this as a goodbye, so he tells her to be well, but before he leaves, Curiosity tells him to continue to be good to the Mother of Corruption. He should keep doing what he's been doing all of this time, so that Mother can keep that smile on her face. Marnak turns away and says that he would have done that even without her telling him. As they leave, Curiosity thinks that the item that is in the ruins will be quite helpful to them, and in the case that the Mother of Corruption gets all of her divine power back, the gods in heaven, especially that rat bastard that stole her daughter's gift, Mending Needle, will suffer for what they have done. Dakia is glad to see Marnak well, with him noting that everything has been solved rather peacefully. But has the priestess been around here to look for him perhaps? Dakia says that she hasn't. She only got a message from Carmen, and now they are here. Marnak asks how Carmen and Sajida are doing, so she explains that they are not critically injured, but treatment doesn't seem to be going that smoothly either, from what she heard. Since he is already here, Marnak decides to go and see how they are doing with his own eyes, with Carmen being very glad to see him alive and kicking. Marnak is also glad that he's lively, but he notes that an injury like this wouldn't just make him all sad, as he only had a few broken bones and bruises to fix. Nothing a priest can't fix. The real problem in all of this is Sajida, as he fought too, and he got the brunt of it. Sajida says that it's nothing much. He also just needs a healing priest, as he didn't get that bad. Marnak asks him to show his ankle a bit, and when he does, he finds exactly what he expected, a mix of different evil god divinities. This is why the priest couldn't use his powers on them. He asks Mother if she could deal with this, which she confirms, but only if she absorbs the divinity from the relic they got. Marnak thinks they can't do that here, since it would expose it, so they really need to go to the ruins and do it there. It's pretty isolated, and the divinity won't be felt at all. Carmen tells him not to worry, as apparently the divine powers inside of them are weakening day by day, although he said that it would take some time to fully heal. Marnak asks how long it will take, with Carmen's girlfriend explaining that it could take months or years, but that's in Carmen's case only, as Sajida is having it much worse. They are looking for ways to get rid of it though, so it won't last that long. Carmen apologizes, as they won't be able to continue escorting Dakia in such states. She tells them to not worry about it, and focus on getting better as fast as they can. Marnak says that since they are in this discussion, him and Dakia will be gone for a few days, as he thought of a way to expel the divine powers from them. She asks what he means, but he tells her to roll with it. Carmen thanks him, as he really is the best, even though he doesn't like to bother him that much. Anyway, they also have to talk about something in private. He gives his girlfriend a wink, making her drag Dakia away. Carmen explains that there is no woman with a larger heart than Dakia, so he should take this as an opportunity to grow closer, as it seems that she also likes him. Sajida says that he thought they were already together, but Marnak says there's nothing going on between them, with Mother screaming at him constantly. Carmen says that it's his chance then, as she's a really good woman. As they walk to the tavern, Dakia says that she's excited for this adventure, even though it will be pretty dangerous to go with only the both of them, but she trusts that he will protect her if anything arises. When they get into the tavern, the priestess is waiting for them and tells Marnak to sit, as she has been waiting for quite a while already. Marnak does just that, but sits on the other side, which angers her a bit. Marnak notes that she came later than expected, but she explains that it's because the Northern Kingdom Queen has asked her for a favor. There are some evil god worshippers going wild in the Northern Capital region, so she asked her to get rid of them. Naturally, he will come with, so he should go and pack his bags. With a rather powerful tone, Marnak says that he will not be coming with her, as that's the opposite of his direction, and there's something he must do there, no matter what. The priestess is extremely sad now, as she went through all of that shame and effort to fulfill what he asked of her. Did she hear him wrongly, perhaps? Marnak says that he meant what he said, with the priestess immediately crying, as she can't believe that she has done something like this to her. Marnak tells her to stop capping, as he knows now that she can just cry on command whenever she wants. The priestess then chooses to pick up her sword while saying that a woman's tears are her weapons. Marnak tells her to put both hands on the table now, as if she tries to knock him out and drag him there. He will be very mad with her. Rather reluctantly, she throws her sword away and says that she didn't want to do something like that, but Marnak knows she most definitely wanted to do that. Marnak says that he can't really come with her at the moment, but once he has completed his objective, he will return to her. He promises. The priestess thinks about it for a bit, but accepts his proposal, as she is quite benevolent, so he can go back and do his own thing. But that is only if he's strong enough to not get beaten up by others. She picks up her sword while noting that the inn has a nice backyard, perfect for a light spar, so he should hurry up and get his sword ready. When Marnak arrives in the backyard, the priestess says that the conditions are simple. She will use the amount of strength that he has, so he should try and slaughter her with the best of his abilities. Marnak gets into position, and before the priestess can say go, he immediately tries to attack her, something which apparently she also used to do. They give each other a smile before the priestess beckons him forward, making Marnak continue to attack again and again. But his attacks just don't go through as she deflects all of them with perfect tempo. She asks him what the most important factor in becoming an expert is, with him replying that it's swordsmanship honed to reach the peak in a toned body. She explains that those are just the basic requirements. If that's all it took, she wouldn't have become one after picking up the sword only for 5 years. Marnak says that she can be quite arrogant at times, but she says that it's just the truth. Anyway, the most important thing for an expert is the mind, as they need to have the ability to imbue any sword with their will. Only then will the impossible become possible for him. In order to become an expert, he needs to have his mind completely devoid of others. However, he seems to be quite dependent on something. Just what is it? Marnak can't answer, as he can't talk about Mother, and that each time he rises from the dead, his dependency on that authority grows more and more. The priestess notes that he must know what she's talking about, with him saying that he does. She notes that she was glad at first when she found him, but her heart turned cold when they clashed blades. Marnak asks if that means he's far from being an expert, but she says that it's more like she has a mother's heart, as she feels like the son she raised got stolen by some snake woman. Marnak notes that this is pretty specific, even for her. She explains that as long as he's dependent like that, she won't force him into anything, but he should at least accept this. This is an ancient relic ring that she got from the Sacred Flame sect. The person with the black ring will always know where the other one is, approximately. Marnak accepts her gift, and then asks how she's an expert, and also a priestess, if that's the case. She explains that being a priestess doesn't come from just faith. It is more like one becomes a priest because they were given authority to do so. Even experts see gods as an object more than anything. They are not swayed by simple things like emotions. That is precisely why she took him in as a disciple, even though she notices that he uses evil god divinity. That is why he must become an expert too, as he will be able to differentiate between his real emotions and the ones that God planted inside of him. Marnak is surprised that she knew all of this time, but if that's the case, why doesn't she just take someone else in as a disciple, who listens more and stays by her side at all times? The priestess says that it's easy. She was raised to become the sword of the Flame sect. She was all one without realizing. Then she met him, and the happiness she felt when they were together was much more than what she felt throughout her entire life. After she lost him, her sadness became even larger, so she can no longer go back to those sad days without him, because he is important to her. He brings only happiness to her. Back at the Dragon Prince's meeting, his servant is getting attacked by the kidnappers, as they think it's his fault that they lost the princess. He continues to run, while praying for someone to come save him. If they do, they will even kiss their ass if he needs to. Suddenly an explosion occurs, with the Dragon Prince coming to save him. He asks if he came for that reason, with the prince wondering why he would be here if that isn't the case. He should follow now, as they need to get a move on already. The servant is now very happy with him, noting that he will serve him all of his life. But the prince has heard what he said about kissing ass, so he shouldn't even think of doing something like that to him, or else he will rip him in two. Dakia and Marnak arrive at the coordinates of the ruins, but it seems that it's already encamped by some people. Dakia suggests that she distracts them with a fire, but Marnak tells her not to, as she might burn the whole forest down. He will try talking with them first, but she should be prepared to intervene with magic. Marnak goes up to the guards who are immediately ready to fight, but he explains that he's a priest of preservation and was asked to take care of some mountain bandits in this area. The guard says that he must relinquish his weapon if he wants to enter, but Marnak can't do that until he identifies them as bandits or not. The guard tells him to buzz off then, but Marnak notices his manner of speaking and notices that he must be a mage. He demands that he bring in someone more reasonable, which angers the mage, so he charges in. But Marnak just gives him one head thud and puts him to the ground. Dakia notices that he is being attacked and summons some water, while also starting to summon lightning in order to zap everyone. She starts changing up her attack in a similar fashion to a certain Super Saiyan, as he was just about to fight everyone, right? Suddenly, a large horned woman comes out of the camp and thanks the gods for the water, as they haven't had some in a while. But that's when she notices the two strangers standing there. Marnak introduces himself, and also Dakia. The woman introduces herself as Fosarina, the captain of the Royal Archaeology team. This meeting sure is a blessing though, as their mages aren't proficient at water magic, so she is really grateful that they made some water. She will also apologize for that bastard. She would have fired him on the spot if he wasn't a damn mage. But anyway, how did they find this place, as the excavations are always kept top secret? Marnak says that they found the place using a key. Fosarina is excited to hear this and asks if she can come with, but Marnak says that it isn't possible. Fosarina rephrases herself. She doesn't want to go in right away. After he is done getting whatever he needs, she would love to have the key afterwards. Marnak doesn't answer just yet, but Fosarina asks what he knows about the ruins, with Marnak saying that he knows as much as the average person. She explains that the ruins can be categorized in two. One is the kind that is isolated and can only be reached by key, while the other is buried underground. The goal of the excavation team is to excavate the latter. They're just curious about the relationship between the ruins, bit the items inside. With that, Marnak agrees to let them have the key, but they will be tired after they get out, so he wants some shelter at least. Fosarina promises them some, but Marnak wonders if this won't create problems with the people at their headquarters. Fosarina says that he has nothing to worry about, as this is all there is of the archaeology team. Marnak asks why they are so few, Fosarina noting that they don't bring in money since they don't find relics often, so they don't get much sponsorship. After their talk is done, Dakia uses the key to open the portal, with the others watching intently. Once they enter, they arrive in a very beautiful place with quite a nice view. Now that he is alone, Marnak can use the divinity to create a new authority. Mother starts consuming the divinity from the relic and from their storage to create a weapon. Marnak is very glad to have this, as this sword corrupts everything it touches no matter what. But unfortunately, this seems to also affect him, as his arm falls right off. Thank you for watching. See you next time.